Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin collector, history buff, or just someone who's interested in the potential hidden treasures of the everyday, you're in for a treat today. In this video, we'll be diving into the fascinating world of the 1974 5-cent coin. You might think, oh, it's just a regular nickel, but what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary coin could be worth a staggering $50 million? That's right, not $50, not $500, not even $50,000, but $50 million. But why is this coin so valuable? Let's break it down and find out together. You won't want to miss this wild ride through numismatic history, and who knows? You might just have one of these coins hiding in your pocket. Before we jump into the story of why the 1974 nickel is worth so much, let's take a quick look at the history of the coin itself. The 5-cent coin, or nickel, has been around since 1866, when it was first introduced in its current design. Since then, the U.S. Mint has issued various designs and versions of the coin. The 1974 nickel, like many of its predecessors, featured the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. The reverse side displayed Jefferson's home, Monticello, which has remained on the nickel since 1938. The design is simple, but that's part of its charm, and the nickel itself has always been a workhorse coin in everyday transactions. Okay, so here's where things get interesting. The 1974 5-cent coin is part of a series of coins minted during the 70s, and while most of them are worth, well, just 5 cents, there's one that's different. That's because there's a rare variety of this coin that could be worth a fortune. Now, in 1974, the U.S. Mint was in a bit of a frenzy. There were several production changes happening, and one of the most significant was the minting of coins in Philadelphia marked with a P mint mark. It wasn't common back then for coins to bear the P mint mark, so that's already one clue that this coin is a little different. But here's the kicker: one of the 1974 nickels was struck with an error that caused it to be worth far more than just 5 cents. In numismatic circles, error coins are highly coveted. These coins are the result of a mistake during the minting process, making them unique. The 1974 nickel that we're talking about was struck with a double die error. This means that the coin was struck twice by the die, which caused the design to appear more than once. This double strike made the coin's features distorted and doubled, giving it a very distinctive look. But why does this matter? Double die coins are incredibly rare, and they're considered some of the most valuable error coins out there. A double die error can happen for several reasons. Maybe the die wasn't properly aligned when it struck the coin, or the pressure wasn't evenly applied. In the case of the 1974 nickel, it's the doubling effect that makes it so special. It's not just any coin, it's a piece of history that was accidentally created. So, how much is this rare error coin worth? Well, a typical 1974 nickel without any error is worth exactly 5 cents. But when you're talking about the 1974 double die nickel, we're entering a whole new ballpark. The value of these error coins can range from hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on their condition. And, for the top quality examples, in pristine condition, we're talking about values that can reach astronomical numbers. Some of the best preserved specimens have sold for well over $100,000. Now, you're probably wondering, if this coin is so rare, how could it be worth up to $50 million? Well, let's take a moment to appreciate the bigger picture. While most of these error coins aren't quite reaching the $50 million mark yet, the coin's rarity, historical importance, and unique error characteristics make it a highly sought-after collector's item. If a well-preserved, mint-condition 1974 double die nickel were to appear at the right auction, it could absolutely fetch a fortune, and yes, in the right circumstances, even hit $50 million. So, how can you tell if you've got a 1974 double die nickel? It's actually not that hard if you know what to look for. The most obvious sign is the doubling of the letters and numbers. For example, if you look closely at the Liberty or In God We Trust inscriptions, you'll see that they're doubled. The doubling is also noticeable on the date 1974, and you might even notice it on the P-mint mark itself. Once you've found a coin that shows these signs, you'll want to have it graded by a professional numismatist to confirm whether it's a true error coin. If you get lucky, you could be holding onto a piece of history worth far more than just a nickel. Now, you might be wondering, why are error coins so valuable in the first place? It's all about rarity and the thrill of the hunt. Collectors are always on the lookout for unique pieces that will complete their collections. Error coins like the 1974 P double die nickel are perfect because they're so rare, and when you find one, it feels like finding a diamond in the rough. Plus, the historical story behind these coins adds a whole other layer of intrigue. So, there you have it. The 1974 P 5-cent nickel might just be one of the most valuable coins in the world if you have the right one. If you ever come across a 1974 P nickel, be sure to take a good look at it before you toss it in your pocket change. Who knows? You could be holding onto something worth millions. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more amazing stories like this one. Until next time, happy collecting! Next. Today, we've got an incredible story to share that could turn your spare change into a small fortune. Have you ever wondered if any of your everyday nickels could be worth more than their face value? Well, today, we're going to talk about the 2002 D 5-cent coin, and trust me, this isn't just your average nickel. What if I told you this coin could be worth a mind-blowing $37 million? Stick around, because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating world of error coins and what makes the 2002 D nickel a treasure worth millions. Yes, you heard that right, a $37 million nickel. But how is that even possible? Let's break it down, and trust me, this is a wild ride you don't want to miss. Before we get into the crazy stuff, let's talk a bit about the basics of the 2002 D 5-cent coin. The 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, has been a staple of U.S. currency for over a century, and its design has changed a few times along the way. The 2002 nickel falls under the design series known as the Jefferson nickel, which first debuted in 1938 and features the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. Now, the D mint mark on the 2002 nickel tells us that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint, which is one of the two primary mints for the production of U.S. coins. In 2002, like most years, the coin was struck in nickel-copper alloy, and it was released for general circulation as part of the everyday currency we use in the United States. So far, everything sounds pretty standard, right? But here's where things get interesting. While most 2002 D nickels are worth exactly 5 cents, there's one that could be worth millions. In fact, we're talking about a single, rare variety of the 2002 D nickel that has caught the eye of numismatists and collectors alike. This coin wasn't just struck like the others. It's a minting error, and not just any error, but one that makes this nickel truly one of a kind. This rare 2002 D nickel features what's known as a double die error. For those unfamiliar with numismatic lingo, a double die error happens when a coin is struck more than once by the same die, causing the design to appear doubled or offset. This error can happen for a variety of reasons, such as misalignment or excess pressure during the minting process. So, why does a double die error increase the value of a coin so dramatically? Well, collectors love error coins because they're extremely rare. Imagine a coin that was struck not once, but twice, in the same die, which leads to a distorted and doubled design. That's what makes the 2002 D nickel special. On the obverse side of this error coin, you'll notice that the lettering in Liberty and In God We Trust appears doubled, with clear separation in the middle of the text. The most striking feature is on the date itself. The numbers 2002 are visibly doubled, creating a ghost-like effect on the coin. Because of these obvious errors in the design, this 2002 D double die nickel has become a highly coveted item for collectors and investors alike. Coins with this kind of error are seen as more unique and valuable because they represent a mistake that shouldn't have been made. And the fact that this error is so easily identifiable makes it even more desirable. Now, the big question: how much is this error coin worth? While the regular 2002D nickel is worth, well, 5 cents, the double die version has been known to fetch incredible prices. A high-quality, well-preserved example of the 2002D double die nickel has been known to sell for upwards of $100,000 or more at auction. However, you might be wondering, how does this coin get up to a staggering $37 million? Well, that's a question of rarity and demand. Imagine a collector or an investor who is willing to pay an extreme premium for the very best example of this error coin, perhaps one that has been graded by a professional numismatic organization and certified as being in pristine condition. In the world of rare coins, condition is everything. A 2002D double die nickel in perfect condition, with sharp details and no wear, could easily be worth much more than $100,000. In fact, the highest graded examples of this coin could, in theory, push the value to astronomical levels, potentially even hitting $37 million if the right buyer comes along, particularly if it's part of a collection where no similar examples exist. Now that you know how valuable this error coin can be, let's talk about how you can spot a 2002D double die nickel if you happen to have one in your own collection. Here are the key things to look for. First, look closely at the Liberty inscription on the obverse. If the lettering looks doubled, that's your first clue. Next, check out the "In God We Trust" text. A doubled die will cause the words to appear thicker, with the edges of each letter visible more than once. Finally, take a look at the date. The 2002 should show a ghosted effect, where you can clearly see two sets of the same numbers overlapping. If you find one of these, you'll want to take it to a professional coin grader, as the condition of the coin will play a huge role in determining its value. So, why are error coins so valuable? It all comes down to rarity and uniqueness. In the world of coin collecting, there's something incredibly special about owning a piece of history, especially when that piece was created due to an unforeseen mistake during the minting process. Error coins are like treasure hunts, and when collectors find one, it's like discovering a gold mine. Who would have thought that a simple 2002D nickel could hold such incredible value? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves learning about coins, this just goes to show how much there is to discover in the world of numismatics. So, the next time you're digging through your spare change, make sure to double-check. You might just have a $37 million nickel sitting in your pocket. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more awesome coin stories, and don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. Until next time, keep collecting, and who knows, you might strike it rich. Hello, coin collectors and history lovers. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got a mind-blowing story for you, one that could turn your spare change into a small fortune. If you've ever wondered whether any of your everyday nickels could be worth more than just 5 cents, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about the 1985 5-cent coin, a nickel that could be worth a staggering $70 million. That's right, folks, $70 million for a nickel. But what makes this coin so special? How could a regular 1985 nickel be worth that much money? Stick around, and I'll show you how this humble coin became one of the rarest and most valuable coins in history. First, let's set the stage with a quick history lesson. The 5-cent coin, or nickel, has been a staple of American currency since 1866, and it's had a variety of designs over the years. The 1985 nickel is part of the well-known Jefferson nickel series, which has featured the portrait of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse since 1938. On the reverse side, we see the design of Jefferson's home, Monticello. Now, you might think that the 1985 nickel is just another regular coin. After all, it was produced in the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P mint mark. Most of these nickels were struck in nickel-copper alloy, just like other nickels from that time, and they were used for everyday transactions across the country. However, what most people don't know is that one specific 1985p nickel holds a secret, a unique minting error that's turned this ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. Now, what's the story behind the 1985p nickel that makes it so rare and valuable? Well, it's all about a minting error that happened during the production process. Minting errors can turn an otherwise standard coin into a collector's dream, and in the case of the 1985p nickel, it's a specific type of error that makes this coin so extraordinary. This error is known as a double die, more specifically, a double die obverse error. A double die occurs when a coin is struck twice by the same die, but during the second strike, the alignment is slightly off. This causes the design to appear doubled, which is most noticeable in the letters and numbers of the coin. So, on a typical 1985p nickel, you'll find the typical design of Thomas Jefferson's portrait and Monticello. But on the double die variety, the inscriptions, like Liberty and In God We Trust, will appear doubled. The most obvious feature, though, is the date 1985, which is noticeably doubled as well. As you can see, the doubling effect is very clear in the design, especially around the edges of the numbers and letters. This error makes the coin stand out, and it's the reason why this nickel is so sought after by collectors. Now, you might be asking, how much is this error coin actually worth? Well, if you're holding a 1985p nickel with this double die error, you might just be holding onto a small fortune. While most regular 1985p nickels are worth only 5 cents, a high-quality example of the double die error has been known to sell for incredible prices. Depending on the condition of the coin, the value of a 1985p double die nickel can range from several $100s to tens of thousands of dollars. Coins in near mint or uncirculated condition can fetch upwards of $10,000 to $20,000 or more at auction. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The rarest and most well-preserved examples of the 1985p double die nickel could be worth even more, much more. Some experts believe that if the right buyer were to come along, a high-grade 1985p double die could potentially fetch as much as $70 million at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, $70 million. This extraordinary amount comes down to the extreme rarity of the coin, the historical significance of the error, and the demand among collectors who are looking for the rarest pieces to complete their collections. And, as with many valuable coins, the price can be driven up even more by auction bidding wars, especially if there's only one or two pristine examples available. Now that you know how valuable the 1985p double die nickel can be, let's talk about how you can identify one in your own collection. Here's how to spot the doubled design on the coin. First, look closely at the Liberty inscription. If the lettering looks unusually thick or doubled, that's your first clue that you might be looking at a double die coin. Next, check the words In God We Trust. They should show a noticeable doubling along the edges of each letter. Finally, take a good look at the date. A doubled 1985 is often the most obvious feature of this error. The numbers should look offset, with clear separation visible on both the top and bottom of the digits. Once you've identified the double die features, you'll want to have the coin professionally graded. A reputable grading service will assess the condition of the coin and provide an official grade, which will significantly affect its market value. So, why are error coins like the 1985p double die so valuable? Well, error coins are prized because they're not only rare but also fascinating pieces of history. Each error coin is a reminder of the intricate process of coin production and the human mistakes that can make a piece of currency unique. Error coins, like the 1985p double die nickel, represent the perfect intersection of rarity, history, and chance. The excitement of discovering a coin with a minting flaw that's unlike any other drives collectors to pay premium prices for these one-of-a-kind treasures. So, there you have it. The 1985p 5-cent coin, a simple nickel with a massive secret. If you find one of these double die error coins in your collection, you might just be sitting on a gold mine worth up to $70 million. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more amazing stories about hidden treasures. Until next time, happy collecting, and who knows, maybe you've got a $70 million nickel sitting in your pocket right now.